Oh, honey, let me tell you something that still breaks my heart to this day. The night my husband, Tom, held my hand so tenderly in that sterile hospital room, whispering how he'd always be there for me, while just 24 hours before, those same hands had left bruises on my arms that I hid under long sleeves. It was like living with two men, one who played the devoted husband for the world to see, and another who, in the quiet of our home, turned into a stranger full of rage and regret. I never thought I'd find the strength to walk away, but sometimes, the deepest pain is the teacher that sets you free. My name is Evelyn, and back then I was 48, a schoolteacher in a small town outside of Nashville. Tennessee, the kind of place where everyone knows your business but pretends they don't. I'd spent 25 years married to Tom, raising our boy, Daniel, who was off at college by then, studying engineering like his daddy always dreamed. Our house was one of those old brick ranchers on Maple Street with a wraparound porch where I'd rock in the evenings, sipping sweet tea and watching fireflies dance in the yard. It looked perfect from the outside, white shutters, flower boxes blooming with geraniums I tended every spring. But inside, behind those lace curtains, it was a different story. Tom and I met young, at a county fair when we were both 23. He was tall, with that easy smile and calloused hands from working on his family's farm. "You're the prettiest thing I've ever seen," he said, handing me a stuffed bear he'd won at the ring toss. I believed him then, and for the first years it was true. We built a life together, wedding at the little white church on Elm, Daniel born with his daddy's blue eyes, Sunday suppers with my mama's cornbread recipe passed down. Tom worked construction, coming home with stories of beams raised and crews laughing over lunch pails. I taught third grade, shaping little minds with crayons and kindness. But somewhere along the way, the man I loved started to change. It was slow at first, like a crack in the foundation you don't notice until the walls lean. After Daniel left for school 3 years back, the house got too quiet, and Tom's temper, which had always simmered under jokes and beers with the boys, began to boil over. It started with words, sharp ones like, "You're letting yourself go, Evelyn," after I'd gained a few pounds from stress eating during parent-teacher nights. I'd laugh it off, smooth my apron and say, "Well, darlin', life's not a beauty pageant." But then came the nights when he'd had one too many at the VFW hall, stumbling in with whiskey on his breath, eyes dark as storm clouds. The first time he hurt me, really hurt me, was over something small, a shirt I forgot to iron for his job interview. "You think I'm a fool?" he yelled, his face inches from mine in the laundry room, the dryer still warm behind us. His hand came up fast, a backhand that snapped my head to the side, my cheek blooming red like a slapped rose. I tasted blood, coppery and warm, and the world spun for a second. He froze, horror in his eyes, then pulled me close, murmuring, "I'm sorry, Evie, God, I'm so sorry. It's the drink, the pressure at work." I believed him, because what else do you do when you've built your whole world around a man? I dabbed arnica on the bruise, hid it with makeup, and told myself it was a one-time thing. But it wasn't. The hurts came every night, or close to it, hidden in the shadows after Daniel's calls or when the neighbor's lights went out. A shove against the fridge when dinner was late, his fingers digging into my shoulders until I winced. "Why can't you just be better?" He'd hiss, breath hot on my neck, then collapse into bed, snoring like nothing happened. I'd lie there awake, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin, the wooden blades cutting moonlight into slices. My body ached, but worse was the ache in my soul, the way love twisted into fear, making me jump at slammed doors or raised voices on TV. I stopped sharing my days, stopped laughing at his jokes, became a ghost in my own home. Friends noticed, of course. My teaching aide, Betty, with her sharp eyes and church lady wisdom, pulled me aside one afternoon in the copy room, the machine whirring like a judgmental ant. "Evelyn, honey, that bruise on your wrist, did you fall again?" Fall, my code word for the accidents that weren't. I forced a smile, stacking worksheets neat. Clumsy me tripped over the cat. Rosie's getting old, you know. Betty nodded, but her lips pressed thin, and she slipped a pamphlet into my bag, something about women's shelters, hotlines glowing in blue ink. I crumpled it later, tears spotting the paper. because leaving Tom meant unraveling everything. The home we'd paid off, the vows we'd whispered, the boy who'd grown up calling him hero. Mornings were the mask. Tom would wake with regret etched in his frown, brewing coffee strong and black, buttering my toast just how I liked, extra on one side. "Rough night, Evie. Won't happen again," he'd say, kissing my forehead, his lips soft as forgiveness I longed to give. We'd drive separate to work, him in his truck rumbling gravel, me in my sensible sedan, radio tuned to gospel hymns that promised redemption. At school, I'd smile for the kids, reading stories of brave mice and loyal friends, while inside I felt like the villain in my own tale. Then came the hospital stay that changed it all. It started with a cough, a dry, nagging thing that turned into pneumonia after a cold snap hit Tennessee hard. I'd been fighting it for weeks, popping lozenges during lessons, but one Tuesday in October, during recess duty, the world grayed out. I collapsed on the blacktop, kids' screams fading as the ground rushed up, asphalt rough under my palms. The ambulance wailed, sirens cutting the autumn air crisp with fallen leaves. And next thing, I was in Vanderbilt's ER, oxygen mask fogging my view, nurses bustling like guardian angels. Tom was there in minutes, bursting through the curtains in his work boots, caked with mud from the sight. "Evie, oh God, Evie," he choked, gripping the bed rail so the metal groaned. His face crumpled, tears tracking dirt smudges on his cheeks, and he stroked my hair gentle, like I was spun glass. "What happened, baby?" "I'm here, I'm right here." The doctors came, pneumonia confirmed, fluids and antibiotics stat. And he nodded fierce, asking questions sharp. Dosages, side effects, recovery time. "Take care of my wife," he told the head nurse, voice steady as steel, hand never leaving mine. For 3 days, he was perfect. Slept in the recliner, its vinyl creaking under him, fetching Jell-O cups and adjusting pillows with care. When my sister Clara visited from Knoxville, bringing magazines and her famous lemon bars, Tom hugged her tight, eyes misty. "She's tough, Clara, but I don't know what I'd do without her." Clara squeezed my hand, whispering, "He's a good man, Evie. Hold on to that." Good man. The words twisted like a knife, because that night in the room, with monitors beeping soft and IV drip steady, I remembered the bruises fading on my thighs, the way he'd whispered threats in the dark. Visitors streamed. Betty with balloons bobbing. The principal with get-well cards crayoned by my class. Tom charmed them all. Jokes about hospital food tasting like cardboard, stories of our early days dancing at the roadhouse. "Evie's my rock," he'd say, arm around my shoulders light, and they'd nod, eyes warm with envy for our love story. But when the door clicked shut, his mask slipped just a fraction. "You scared me, Evie, pushing yourself too hard. Gotta take better care." Care. Accusation wrapped in concern. And I murmured, "Yes, Tom," throat raw from the tube. Discharge came Friday. Papers rustling. Wheelchair rolling me out to his truck. Autumn sun slanting gold on the parking lot. He helped me in gentle, buckling the seatbelt like I was fragile china. "Home, darlin'. I'll make your favorite, chicken and dumplings just like Mama taught." The drive was quiet, radio humming old country ballads about heartache and homecoming. I leaned against the window, glass cool on my temple, watching billboards blur, one for a lawyer, divorce with dignity, another for a shelter. You deserve safe. Words that whispered like wind through pines. Home smelled of sage and stockpot simmering, the kitchen steamy warm. He fussed, pillows fluffed, blanket tucked, then sat beside me on the couch, remote in hand for a movie we'd loved in better days. "Missed you," he said, pulling me close, his arm heavy but not hurtful. For a moment I let myself believe the perfect husband, the one from the hospital, was real. But as night fell, shadows lengthening across the den floor, the mask cracked. Daniel called, excited about a job offer in Atlanta, and Tom grabbed the phone, voice booming pride. "That's my boy! Make us proud. Us." The word hung when he hung up, and he turned to me, eyes narrowing. "You didn't tell him about the hospital? Keeping secrets now?" "Secrets." My heart stuttered, and I sat up slow, quilt slipping. He was busy with exams, Tom. Didn't want to worry him. His jaw tightened, the vein in his neck pulsing like a warning. Always protecting everyone but me. What about my worry, Evie? Coming home to find you gone, ambulance lights flashing like some damn circus? The shift was swift, calm to storm in a breath. He stood, pacing the rug worn thin from years, his boots thudding heavy. I give you everything. This house, the life, and you repay me by falling apart? Falling. My chest tightened. Oxygen debt from the illness lingering, and I whispered, Tom, please. I'm still weak. Weak. The word ignited him, and he loomed, finger jabbing air. Weak, that's your problem. Always have been. The hand rose then, not to hit, but close. Hovering, knuckles white, the threat hanging thicker than the chicken scent gone sour. I flinched, curling small, the bruise on my soul reopening fresh. He stopped, breath ragged, then deflated, sinking to the coffee table's edge, head in hands. God, Evie, look what you make me do. Make, as if I wielded the fist. Tears came hot for him, not me, and he pulled me into his lap, rocking gentle. I love you. Don't make me lose it again. I held still, body rigid, mind racing like the ambulance that saved me. Love. The word echoed from the hospital, but here it chained. That night, as he snored beside me, the quilt pulled high, I stared at the ceiling, fan blades slicing darkness. The perfect husband was a performance, applause from nurses and kin, but the real Tom lurked in the wings, waiting for curtain fall. How much longer could I applaud the act? What happened next in that fragile recovery week would push me to the edge, where secrets spill and strength is born from breaking. Character count, 9,856. Part 2, The Cracks. Wyden recovery was a cruel tease. Those first weeks home from the hospital, where daylight brought Tom's best self. Breakfast trays with scrambled eggs fluffy and bacon crisp. His hands steady, folding napkins like hospital corners. Eat up, Evie, he'd say, sitting across the kitchen table, sunlight slanting through gingham curtains, catching the gray in his hair I'd once twirled in affection. Gotta get your strength back for those kids of yours. My kids, the third graders with gap-toothed grins and spelling bees, won on sheer pluck. I nodded, fork-scraping plate, the food tasteless as chalk, because swallowing meant pretending the night before hadn't happened, the threat hanging like smoke from a doused fire. I'd returned to work part-time after 2 weeks. Doctor's orders strict, no recess duty, light grading only. The school welcomed me with a banner in the lobby. Welcome back, Mrs. Thompson. Balloons tied to my classroom door, popping soft as hugs from Betty and the PTA moms. Tom drove me that first day, truck idling curbside, his kiss on my cheek lingering a beat too long. Proud of you, darlin'. Show 'em what you're made of. Proud. The word warmed false. But I smiled through the mirror, waving as he pulled away. Exhaust puffing gray into the crisp November air. Class was a balm, little hands waving papers high, stories read with voices pitched dramatic, the chalkboard filling with arithmetic neat as promises. Missed you, Mrs. T, piped up Sarah, braids swinging, her essay on family tucked shy in my hand. Family. I read it later in the lounge, coffee cooling, the words blurring. My daddy hugs me every night, even when he's tired from work. Hugs, not hands raised in anger. Betty joined me then, vending machine humming, her thermos of soup steaming chicken noodle. You look peaked, Evelyn. Everything all right at home? Peaked, southern for hollow-eyed, and I sipped air from my mug. Just the cough lingering. Tom's taking good care, good care. The lie sat heavy, but Betty's nod was kind, her pat on my shoulder light. He's a keeper, that one. Saw him at the hardware store last week, buying paint for the porch. Said it's a surprise for you, surprise. Paint to cover the scuff from his boot last month when words turned to shoves over a burnt roast. I murmured thanks, bell ringing shrill, kids tumbling in like puppies. But the day dragged, cough-hacking dry in quiet moments. And by pickup, Tom's truck gleamed parked neat. Him leaning against the tailgate, chatting with the custodian like old pals. The drive home was chatter, his crew's latest prank. A beam dropped in mud, laughter rumbling deep. You should have seen it, Evie, like Keystone Cops. I smiled faint, window cracked to autumn leaves swirling red and gold, the radio crooning Patsy Cline about crazy love. Home, he unpacked groceries, milk cold, bread fresh, then announced, date night, reservation at Rossi's, 7 sharp. Rossi's. The Italian place downtown, candlelit tables and veal marsala we'd shared anniversaries. Tom, the doctor said rest. Rest. He waved it off, grin wide. One night out won't kill you. Wear that blue dress, the one that makes my heart skip. I did, slipping into the fabric soft from disuse, pearls from our 10th anniversary cool on my throat. Mirror showed a woman pale but poised, makeup hiding the shadows under eyes from fitful sleep. He whistled low when I descended the stairs, hand out gallant. Stunner, let's show this town how it's done. The drive buzzed with his playlist. Oldies. Elvis crooning Love Me Tender. And at the restaurant, heads turned as he pulled my chair. Ordering wine-bold Cabernet, toasting, to us? Evie, through thick and thin, through. The word echoed vows, and for an hour under Chianti glow and violin strings. He was charming, stories of farm boy dreams. Compliments on my laugh like music, Clara called midway. Speaker on, her voice tinny from Knoxville Hills. How's my favorite sister? Tom's treating you like queen? Queen. Tom leaned in, mic close. Better than royalty, Clara. Taking her to Rossi's, her favorite tiramisu waiting. Laughter shared, easy, and she sighed content. You two are goals. Hold tight, y'all. Goals. The call ended, forks clinking plates, but as dessert arrived, cream dusting his lip, his eyes darkened over a spilled drop of sauce on the tablecloth. Clumsy waiter, he muttered, dabbing fierce. Clumsy. My hand trembled on the spoon, heart tripping, but I breathed even. It's fine, Tom. Just a spot. Fine. The ride home soured slow, his grip on the wheel tightening at a red light, radio volume cranked to drown silence. That waiter, probably illegal, can't even pour straight. Straight. Bigotry bubbling, and I murmured, everyone makes mistakes. Mistake. The word lit fuse, and by porch light key turning sharp, the storm broke. Like you? He snapped, dar slamming behind, coat flung to hook. Forgetting my lunch today? Left me looking like a fool in front of the crew. Lunch. The Tupperware I'd packed hasty that morning, cough rattling my chest. Tom, I was sick. He whirled, face thunder close. Always excuses. No wonder Daniel calls you Les. Daniel. The name slashed and tears pricked hot. Don't bring him into this. But he did, voice rising, finger jabbing my collarbone. Our boy's succeeding because of me, not your coddling. Coddling. The shove came then, palm flat to my chest, propelling me back against the wall, family photos rattling, Daniel's graduation smile crooked now. Pain bloomed sharp, breath knocked, and I slid down, skirt hiking, pearls scattering like tears across the hardwood. He loomed, breath heaving, then knelt slow, hands hovering. Evie, God, why do you push me? Push, as if I swung the force. He gathered the pearls, string snapping back, his fingers gentle now, threading them cool on my neck. I'm sorry. The wine, the day, it's not you. Not you. Absolution I clutched, because the alternative was shattering the vase of our life, shards cutting deep. Bed that night, he held me spoon close. Snores rumbling soon, but I lay rigid, wall pressing cold at my back. Mind mapping escape routes. The shelter pamphlet Betty slipped again that week. Hidden in my glove box like contraband. Days blurred to Thanksgiving. Clara arriving with Pie's pumpkin sweet, her hug at the door fierce. You look thin, sis. Tom's feeding you? Feeding. I laughed light, stirring gravy on the stove, steam fogging windows. Like a king. Turkey's his specialty. He was, carving bird juicy, jokes flying with Dad's old carving knife glinting. Pass the rolls, Clara. Evie's got the touch. Touch. The table groaned bounty, cranberry relish tart, green beans almond crisp, and talk flowed, Daniel's visit plans, Clara's new job at the library. Tom shone, arm around my chair casual, refilling glasses with grace. But after pie, dishes sudsing, Clara cornered me at the sink, sponge dripping. Evelyn, your arm, that mark. He did that? Mark. The fingerprint purpled, sleeve slipped in the steam. I tugged down, water hot on skin. Fell off the porch step. Icy patch. Icy. Her eyes searched, soft brown like Mama's. Don't lie to me. I've seen the pamphlets, heard the codes. You're stronger than this. Stronger. The word lodged, and tears mixed with suds. Clara, it's complicated. He's good, mostly. She hugged then, soapy arms tight. Good enough isn't love. Call me any time, day or night. Night. The promise lingered as she drove off, taillights fading red in dusk, Tom waving from the door, beer in hand. Bed came early, quilt heavy, but his mood soured over a football game rerun, remote slamming coffee table. Ref's blind. Blind. The rant built, voice rising, and when I suggested bed. Tired? His hand caught my wrist, twisting sharp. You think you know better? Better. Pain shot white-hot, bone grinding, and I gasped, Tom, stop! Stop! He did, releasing abrupt, face paling in the TV's flicker. Pushing again, Evie. Pushing. I rubbed the welt rising, retreating to the bathroom, door locked, mirror fogging from hot water run to mask sobs. The face staring back, lines etched deeper, eyes dull as winter grass, was mine, but not. How many mostlies before mostly became never? The cough returned that week, wetter, doctor visits stacking with chest x-rays gray on light boxes. Tom played nurse perfect, driving to appointments, hand on my knee in waiting rooms, paper crisp, asking about meds with concern furrowed. We'll beat this, Evie. Beat. Irony bitter as the antibiotics coating my tongue. At home, though, the hurts escalated, a slap for nagging about bills, a grab that left my hip bruised purple. I hid them all, long sweaters and smiles, but inside, the foundation crumbled faster, cracks spidering to the surface. One evening, grading papers at the kitchen table, lamp pooling yellow on red ink, Daniel called video, his dorm room messy behind. Mom, how's the pneumonia? Dad taking care? Taking. Tom's voice boomed from the den. Your ma's a trooper, son. Chicken soup every night. Every. Daniel's grin wide. Love you both. Home for Christmas? Christmas. Can't wait, I said, voice steady. But the screen's glow caught the fresh mark on my jaw. A shadow I turned from quick. Hang up, and Tom entered, arms wrapping from behind, chin on my shoulder. Good talk. He's happy. Happy. His hand slid down, possessive, and I stiffened, papers rustling. Evelyn, what's wrong? Wrong. The question hung, and for a breath I almost spilled, the hurts, the fear, the perfect mask cracking. But he kissed my neck soft, murmuring, Love you, darlin'. Always. Always. The word chained, and I nodded, pencil resuming. But resolve stirred deep, a seed in cracked soil. What bloomed from that seed, in the quiet desperation of December's chill, would force the truth into light. Where no mask could hide December wrapped Nashville in frost. The kind that nips your nose walking to the mailbox. Letters crisp with holiday cards, smiling families in sweaters, promises of joy I pasted on the fridge like Band-Aids. Tom's construction slowed with the cold, cruise home early, and the house filled with his presence constant. The air thick as the pine scent from the tree we'd trimmed together, ornaments tinkling like fragile peace. Beautiful, Evie, he'd said, stringing lights golden, his arm around my waist light then. But beauty hid beasts, and the nights grew longer, hurts sharper in the holiday hush. Daniel arrived Christmas Eve, train rumbling in from Atlanta, his duffel heavy with laundry and gifts wrapped clumsy. Tom clapped his back hard at the door, snow-dusting his coat. Look at you, engineer man. Home for the feast. Feast. The kitchen bustled, ham glazing sweet in the oven, rolls rising fluffy, my hands floured from pie crusts Mama taught. Daniel hugged me fierce, whiskers from college beard tickling. Mom, you okay? Dad said the cough's better. Better. Much, I lied, stirring gravy, steam veiling my face. We ate late, candles flickering on the tablecloth lace, talk of his internship, Tom's old farm tales. Laughter rang true for hours, and I watched them, father and son, heads bent close over chess in the den, bored clicking pieces, and ached for the family we mimicked so well. But bedtime came, Daniel in his old room posters faded, and the mask slipped as Tom and I cleared dishes, water running hot. "Boy's grown," he said, drying a plate slow. Grown. Proud of him. Pride swelled, but soured quick. He asked about grandkids. Said you're doting too much. Doting. The word jabbed, and I paused, sponge dripping. Doting. I just asked if he was eating right. Eating. Tom set the plate down hard, crack spidering edge. Nagging, Evie, always nagging. No wonder he stays away. Away. The accusation landed, and my voice rose soft. He's busy with school. Busy. His face darkened, towel twisting in fists. Like you? Grading till midnight, ignoring me? Ignoring. The argument escalated whisper harsh over sink suds, his finger to my lips shushing. Keep it down, Daniel's here. Here. The hypocrisy stung, and I pulled back, hip to counter edge. You keep it down, Tom. Your yelling wakes the dead. Yelling. The slap came swift, palm open across my cheek, sting blooming fire, head snapping side. I gasped, hand to face, the copper taste returning, salt tears instant. He froze, eyes wild, then stepped back, hands raking hair. Evie, the holidays, the stress, don't tell the boy. Tell. As if shame was mine. I nodded numb, ice from freezer pressed to skin, mirror in powder room showing red handprint blooming like a holly wreath. Daniel knocked soft later. Mom? Everything okay? Okay. Just a headache, sugar. Go to sleep. Santa's coming. Santa. At 21, he played along for me, but his eyes searched the door crack, brow furrowed. Love you. Love. Always, baby. Christmas morning dawned sugar-dusted, stockings plump, coffee perking strong. Tom played Santa perfect, gifts wrapped crisp, his to me a necklace silver locket with our wedding photo inside, tiny and timeless. For my heart, he said, clasping it cool on my nape, kiss to shoulder. Daniel beamed over his tool set, gleaming. Thanks, Dad. Needed this for the project. Project. The day unfolded joy. Eggnog spiked mild, carols on the radio, walks in snow crunching under boots. Neighbors waved from porches lit. Merry Christmas, Thompsons. Thompsons, the envy in their waves twisted, because from afar we were the dream. But night fell, Daniel crashed early from travel, and the storm broke full. Tom found the shelter pamphlet in my purse, spilled on the bed during packing. What's this? He demanded, paper crinkling in fist, face thunder in lamp glow. Planning to run, Evie? After all I've done? Done. I sat up, quilt clutched, heart hammering. Just information, Tom. From Betty. For a friend. Friend. Lie thin, and he laughed bitter, tossing it to floor. Liar, think you can leave? Who'd want you, worn out, nagging? Worn. The words cut deep, and I rose, voice steady despite quake. I'm tired of the hurting, Tom. The slaps, the shoves. It's not love. Love. His eyes flashed, and he advanced, hand rising high. You make me, woman. Push and push! Push! The backhand connected, harder than Christmas Eve, my lips splitting, blood warm on chin. I stumbled, nightstand lamp crashing glass shatter, light dying to dark. Pain throbbed, vision spotting. But fury rose hotter, years of sorries, masks. Enough! Get out, I whispered, wiping blood on sleeve, standing tall in the moon sliver through blinds. Out. He laughed again, looming close. This is my house. You'll never. The door creaked then, Daniel's voice sleepy from hall. Mom? Dad? Heard breaking. Tom spun, face paling, and I stepped forward, light switch flicking harsh. Just a lamp, son. Daddy and I, talking. Daniel rubbed eyes, pajamas rumpled, seeing the blood, the bruise swelling. Mom! Your face. Silence thick, Tom's mouth opening fish silent, and Daniel's eyes hardened, boy to man in a breath. Dad, what did you do? Do. Tom stammered, accident, boy. She fell. Daniel cut, voice steel. Don't. I saw the pamphlets, Mom crying on calls. This ends now. Ends. The room spun, not from pain, but power. The truth spilling, no hiding. Tom deflated, hands out placating. Son, listen, it's complicated. Your ma and I, complicated. Daniel shook head, arm around me gentle. No, pack a bag, Dad. Motel on Route 40. We'll talk tomorrow. Tomorrow. Tom glanced me, eyes pleading silent, then nodded, broken, duffel zipping in hall echo. Daniel held me that night, like when he was small with nightmares, his shoulder broad now. Why didn't you tell me, Mom? Tell. Tears flowed free, blood-crusted. Didn't want to break your world. World. He squeezed hand. You are my world. He's the break. Break. Dawn came gray, coffee brewing for 2, Tom gone to the motel, key left on counter with note. We'll fix this. Love, Tom. Fix. But as Daniel hugged goodbye, train ticket in hand, his whisper sealed it. Call the lawyer. Mom, you deserve peace. Peace. The word echoed as I dialed Betty first, voice trembling over line. It's me. Need that number. The hotline warm, counselor's voice steady. You're brave, Evelyn. First step's the hardest. Afternoon brought Clara, driving fierce, her car packed overnight bag. Told you, sis. My couch is yours. Couch. We drove to her Knoxville home. Hills rolling quilted, radio off for talk raw, the hurts catalogued, tears shared over thermos tea. Back in Nashville, days later, alone in the house echoey. I filed papers, lawyer's office smelling ink and resolve, forms signing my name steady. Tom called pleading, Evie, counseling, for us, for Daniel, us. Too late, I said calm. Receiver warm in palm. Late. The divorce dragged winter long, assets split fair, house mine. His truck, his alimony monthly like breath, neighbors whispered, but Betty rallied. Potlucks. Prayer circles gentle. Clara's visits bridged, her lemon bars a staple. Talk turning from pain to plans, part-time to full at school. A writer's group for stories bottled long. Daniel visited weekends, helping paint the porch soft blue, his laughter filling cracks. Proud of you, Mom. Proud. Tom's texts faded, miss you to silence. His new routine whispered, AA meetings. Construction steady, but alone. The climax came spring. Court date blooming dogwoods pink, judge's gavel final as birdsong. Dissolved, she said, robes swishing, and I walked out free, air sweet with freedom's tang. Tom waited curbside, suit pressed, eyes wet. You happy? Happy. I nodded, pearls. Mine now, cool on skin. Healing. He hugged brief, then gone, truck rumbling away. But the real turning point. That hospital perfect act, replayed in dreams, taught me. Love isn't masks or maybes. It's steady hands that never raise to harm. Spring thawed Tennessee slow, dogwoods unfurling pink against skies washed blue, and in my little rancher on Maple, the porch swing creaked solo now. Sweet tea sweating on the side table, fireflies winking approval at my solitude hard won. Divorce. Final. Papers tucked in a drawer with Tom's old watch, stopped at our last good day. I breathed deeper, cough gone, bruises faded to faint maps of memory. Daniel finished school strong. Job offer in Chattanooga close enough for Sundays. His calls daily. Mom, grilled that steak you taught, burnt the edges but tasted like home. Home. The word, mine alone. No shadows lurking. Clara stayed close. Weekends in Knoxville turning ritual, markets for fresh eggs and yarn for Afghans knitted slow, her living room fire crackling stories of men who'd wandered, lessons learned in leaving. You did what I couldn't, she confessed one evening, needles clicking rhythmic, quilt square blooming under hands. Couldn't. Stayed too long with my ex, thinking love fixed fools. Fools. I sipped cider warm, embers glowing. Thought the same. But pain's the professor, Clara. Teaches boundaries you can't unlearn. Boundaries. I set them firm. Tom's calls screened to polite. Daniel mediating gentle. Dad's trying, Mom. Therapy, the works. Trying. Good for him, but not my burden. Burden. Summer bloomed, heat wave sticky, school out, and I traveled light. Bus to Memphis for Beale Street blues, saxophone wailing heartache under stars, strangers' claps a chorus to my quiet joy. Betty joined once, her laugh booming over ribs sauced tangy. Look at you, Evelyn, glowing like a girl. Girl. Feels like starting over, I admitted, napkin dabbing sauce, riverboats, horn low. Fall circled back, leaves carpeting gold, and Daniel brought a girl, Lila, soft-spoken with curls and a nurse's steady gaze. Mom, meet the future. Future. Dinner at my table, ham sliced thin, talk of weddings tentative, and I watched him beam, Tom's absence a ghost polite. Dad sends regrets, job site, sight. But later, dishes sudsing, Lila cornered soft. Daniel told me, about before, you're brave. Brave. Tears pricked, sponge pausing. Just survived, honey. That's all any of us do. Survived. The word anchored as winter whispered again, holidays reimagined, Clara's tree-trimmed tinsel bright, Daniel and Lila stringing lights, no gavel echoes. Tom's card arrived neutral, peace, Evie, and I replied simple, same to you. Peace. Spring brought the writers' group bloom, my stories spilling ink, tales of teachers and tempests, bruises turned to badges. First reading, coffee shop steaming, hands clapped warm. Powerful, Evelyn. Powerful. The editor from the local paper nodded post. Submit more. Voice like yours heals. Heals. The column started small. From the porch swing, reflections on mending, mailed weekly to the Gazette, readers' letters piling, thank you, felt seen. Seen. One from a widow in Clarksville. Your words gave me courage to leave. Courage. Daniel's wedding came June, garden affair under oaks draped Spanish moss, Lila radiant white, him tux crisp. Tom sat rows back, suit neat, eyes misty from afar. Our dance, father-daughter sway turned mother-son. Tom watched silent, then approached post, hand out hesitant. May I? May. One turn, his hold light, no threats. Happy for him, Evie? Happy. For us all. All. The waltz ended, and he faded to guests, a chapter closed gentle. Years folded like quilt squares. Column grew book-bound, signings at the library where Clara worked, faces nodding me too. Daniel's babies came, twins, boy and girl with his eyes, my lap full giggles and sticky fingers. Grandma Evie, they lisped, porch swing creaking under weight. Tom visited holidays sparse, grandfather proud but distant, his new life whispered, companion named Ruth, gentle widow from church. Found peace, Daniel said once, twins napping. Peace. As you did, Mom. Did. Looking back, that hospital act, hands, tender under nurse's watch, was the cruelest cut, showing the man he could be, the love possible without pain. But it sparked the fire, every slap a lesson in limits, every sorry a step to the door. Morale's simple, sisters. Love that hurts isn't love. It's a cage gilded false. Walk free, head high, because the dawn after dark, it's yours, bright and unbroken. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories like this.